It's the final of Strictly Tonight. Are you looking forward to that? There's the Stereophonics, by the way, just gone 7:10. Saturday breakfast. Thank you so much for waking up and putting us on. It's really good to be with you. We're going to play that Christmas song next from David Bowie and Bing Crosby, Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy, which I reckon will be the perfect song after our next conversation. This weekend, apparently, is the peak time to be doing our food shop. So to go and get your turkey and all the trimmings and veg, a week to go till the big day. But you've got to spare a thought, haven't you, for others? Hundreds of Salvation Army volunteers are going to be packing food parcels for those who may otherwise be going without. And I love hearing about this. For instance, in Peterborough, there's over 150 families and approximately 500 children who will be receiving food and also toys from the Salvation Army. The Cambridgeshire Church will be distributing to over 200 families and again another 500-ish children. And it's just lovely to hear about this and hear about the work that the Salvation Army are doing. And it's not just our two biggest cities where the help is needed. Captain Rob Simmons is the Corps Officer at Histon Salvation Army and joins us now. Rob, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Nice to be with you as well. And by the way, at the end of our conversation, before we play our next Christmas song, I'm going to be asking you to tell us your favourite Christmas film. We'll come on to that in a moment.
No problem.
I'd like to ask how many families, and you know, with a kind of perspective of Histon Salvation Army and the sort of the surrounding villages that you look after, how many families do you think you'll be supporting this Christmas?
So this Christmas, we're going to be supporting around about 40 children across about 26 different families. And that's the kind of number that we're working with this year. And that will be from a combination of Histon and Impington and the surrounding, as you say, villages in the local area.
Histon is a pretty affluent place, isn't it? But across the, certain sections of Histon and the surrounding villages, there are many families, I guess, who are fairly on sort of low income and find it tough at this time of the year.
There are, and I think it's not always perhaps as obvious as you might think. It'd be very easy to assume that, an area was relatively affluent and there wasn't very much need, but often, when you discover that there is, it becomes more apparent. And so we've certainly been trying to respond to that as much as we can this year.
Paint a picture for me, Rob, of the food parcels that you deliver. What's in them?
Well, it's all the festive sort of treats, really, that you would probably hope to have at Christmas Day. So the usual things like, your vegetables and the Christmas pudding and maybe some sweet treats and things in there as well. But things to make a healthy, wholesome Christmas meal for the family. That's what we try to put into the parcels.
And how many how do you decide which families get these food parcels? How does that process work?
So generally, we're made aware of the families by referral, and that would come from, it could be a social worker, it could be a family worker, it could be a school, for example, or a church, or indeed anyone really in the community that knows of a family or a circumstance where, they could do with some additional support. And so we're very happy to take referrals from anyone that knows anyone in that situation. But generally, it tends to be the statutory agencies who would know these families on the ground, and also people that we work with throughout the course of the year as well, and been able to build relationships with. We can also help them at this time too, which is lovely.
Now, it is another COVID Christmas, isn't it? And last Christmas, of course, we know what happened. I just wondered how the pandemic has affected the demand. Has it kind of been higher than normal Christmases this year?
I think it has been slightly higher for us, certainly this year, and people are more aware of the Christmas present appeal in this area, and people are more readily able to respond to that need. I think they're more aware that there are situations that perhaps they weren't aware of before, and so the numbers have gone up slightly here for us, but the demand has been met by the amazing generosity of members of the public. And people who just wanted to support. We've had, in some cases, not one or two toys brought to us, but bags of toys that have been donated, and really carefully, planned, thought out, chosen toys for the respective age group as well, which has been really nice to see.
That's wonderful to hear, I'm sure, from our listeners' perspective who are listening to you describe the situation. And the Salvation Army volunteers, a word for them, they work hard, don't they?
They do. They work amazingly hard all the year round, and which is amazing to see. But particularly at Christmas, it's always a I think, a really big push for everyone to try and spread, the good news of the Christmas story. And of course, our Christian faith as well. It's a great opportunity for us to roll our sleeves up and really make a real practical difference for people this year.
And just finally, on behalf of those people who are receiving these food hampers and the toys for all of the children that have so generously been donated, I can only imagine how grateful they must be. And I asked that final question, because my neighbour brought me a little food hamper around yesterday to say thank you, because I give him my kind of car parking space that I don't really need. And just as a little thank you, he said, here's food. And in this food hamper, honestly, Rob, there was Prosecco in it, there was treats, and it was all wrapped up beautifully. It made me feel amazing. I felt, that's so kind. And it really lifted my spirits yesterday. And I guess it will be a similar feeling for all those people that receive these food parcels and these toys.
Absolutely, and I know from that, people that we've met this year. I mean, we see the joy and the elation on the often the family workers or the social workers' face when they pick them up, and that is absolutely nothing compared to the joy that will be for the actual final person who receives them. I really don't think you can do anything more than making a really generous gift, to someone who is in need. Often we may never get to know who the recipient is. But I think it really does make an amazing difference.
Captain Rob Simmons, the Corps Officer at Histon Salvation Army, thank you for your time. And what is your favourite Christmas film of all time?
I would have to go with Home Alone.
Oh, Home Alone, yes. Home Alone, of course. That's got to be right up there, right? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rob. Have a good day and have a good Christmas.
You too. Thank you very much indeed. All the best.
This is BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.